Hey, family. Let's do this. Let's do this real quick. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody is doing well. I didn't decide until now to go live. Just wanted to introduce the new topics. We're going to really talk about mostly about the Black family, Black men, Black women, how important our Black families are. This is going to be a series, and it's going to be until I think that we got it. So it might be a while, and we're going to start tonight. It's going to be the first small series. We're not going to do a whole lot, but it's going to be a small series. Okay. So let's just start with this. I hope I don't get dinged on this because I'm using a song. It's not my music, and I don't even know if I need to do this, but I'm just gonna play a little bit of it. I hope it don't ding. I hope I do not own Oni Hey. I do not own the rights to this music. Okay, I don't even know. I played it because I think it has a really good. Hold on, you guys. I gotta get my charger. Went on and I didn't charge my phone. I don't know why I did that, but yeah, I think this music is so important because there's a lot of fathers that's missing. Um, this is going to be a really. I'm hoping it's going to be an eye opener, and it's going to be until I get tired of um, I get tired of seeing until I get tired of saying it. I guess, huh? Because I think it's so important how important our fathers is, and we as the Black community, we don't really understand how important our dads are, or how important fathers are for our boys, especially. And I'm not saying they're not important for the girls, but fathers for the boys are so important. What we're seeing now is the result of something that happened, God, what, in 1965? What we're seeing now is something that happened in the 60s, in, like, I want to say 1965, okay? Um, and it's let's talk about this. Let's really get into this. How welfare ruined the Black family, and and it was all done on purpose. We are dealing with people that on purpose, that on purpose have really destroyed the Black family. And it's just so ironic because we let them. We see it's happening. We know it's happening. And now it's getting to a point where we can't even stand the sight of each other. And where did it start? That's where the gaslighting comes in. That's where the benign neglect come in. This is where the COINTELPRO came in. And we don't even understand that we've been COINTELPRO even now, and we don't even know where it started, how it started, and we just keep on letting it get out of hand. It's so out of hand now that Black men don't even like Black women, and vice versa. How do you not like your own? We think another culture is going to treat us better than our own. That's ludicrous. But this is also a result of us allowing others that don't like you to get a hold of this right here as children. They have really ruined our minds because I went to a mixed school. Okay, I think it started. We went. I went to a mixed school. Mixed school. My husband went to a mixed school, but the generations before us, they went to an all Black school. Everything was blackity black, 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 black. Excuse me. And then we got to a point. Forecast, Grandma, welcome, welcome, welcome. We got to a point where we allowed people that didn't like us to literally educate us and teach us how to hate us. Slickly, slyly, they didn't do it. Hey, they didn't outright do it. They did it in the commercials, the TVs. They did it with the games. They did it with the reports. They did it with the news. They powdered on just like they doing now, showing these white women with these Black men, and the Black women with the white men. They are doing it so like every commercial I see now is a Black man with a white woman, right? What do you think that's about? Okay, they started in the 60s. They divided family. They put drugs in our neighborhood, right? First, they took the jobs from our men. Let's start there. On purpose, they took jobs from our men. So if our men don't have a job, then the woman gonna look at him like, dude, you're not providing. What's going on? So now you're gonna have a woman get mad, right? Come on now. This is a part of their system. This is how they do it. We have to start understanding and learning their tactics. If we are not learning their tactics, we are going to fall for it and keep falling for it every time. We have to learn their tactics. So first I'll take the jobs and not even hire the men, right? Then I'm gonna dump drugs in your neighborhood. So you're either gonna do the drugs or you're gonna sell the drugs, right? One of the two. So then I'm gonna talk about how dangerous the Black neighborhood, how dangerous the Black community is, how dangerous this and that is, right? So now you're looking at Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, all of them start tag teaming, and talking about our children being predators. Start talking about our men. Then you had the crime bill. Then you had them. I mean, it's all piled on top of one, and nobody would. And you had Black people, your Black caucus that was supposed to have your back. They was putting laws helping Joe Biden, the man that did the most to the Black family, helping him because white folks said your neighbor's hoods are bad. Their neighborhood was bad too. I'm just saying. But they're telling you how bad your children are, how bad your area is, even though they know they did it, right? They did it. But nobody had the nerves to point to them and say, our neighborhoods are bad because of you. The ghettos was produced by what? Remember the Jews, remember? They had the ghettos, right? So then Black folk, I'm telling you, this thing has been so big and the hole goes so deep. You don't even know really where to start because it's so deep. We're going to talk about the ghettos. We're going to talk about all of that. This is why I'm doing this series, and it's going to last until we understand what needs to be done in our community to stop, because we got a mess right now. We have a freaking mess. And if we don't do something, if we don't stop this, if we don't nip it in the bud right here, what now? What are we leaving our children? What legacy are you leaving your children? What legacy are we leaving our boys? I seen, and I'm going to try to pull it up. I hope I can. Where the Black fathers went into the school. This was the worst school. I think it was in Louisiana. And Black fathers went in there, and now, and that's what's needed. And that right there was an experiment. But then white folks look at that and say, hold on, we can't have that now. Hold on, we can't have that. But my thing is these Black mayors, if I was mayor, I would promote and I would hire Black men to go into the schools. I would literally make programs or make jobs for Black men to be in schools. Seriously. Because we see it works. We see that when those men came to schools, those kids, those boys, straighten right up. But we've known that that's what it takes. But because we as Black folk just don't want to do the work for whatever reason, because I hear, Black men or some say, well, my dad wasn't there. So, and I go, look at me. Yeah, look at you. You don't see nothing wrong with that? And that's the sad part about it. We don't see nothing wrong with the way we are. We don't see anything wrong with our families not being divided. We don't see anything wrong with hating each other. We don't see anything wrong with the way our kids are acting like their kids, because evil communication corrupt good manners. Be separate, come from among, join, learn not. And we did everything that we weren't supposed to do. We did it. And then we thought we was going to get different results. No, he told you not to. He told you, and I talk about this all the time. He told you not to give your daughters, not to give your children to them. And what do? We thought that their ice was colder and then didn't taste just like our ice. We just convinced ourselves that it was colder because ice is ice. I'm just saying. It's not even cleaner. Ice is ice. So how is it colder? But we've convinced ourselves that it's colder. We really have truly convinced ourselves that they're better than us because they told you that they were. They told you were nothing. They told you was late. They told you that your men were no good. They told you your women no good. They told you. And we picked it up and ran with it. And we actually believe it. Instead of you sitting up there saying, hold on now, But we don't have sense enough to stop in our tracks and go, wait a minute, something wrong with this picture. Who told me this? Where did I get this information from? And Malcolm X came. Was it Malcolm? Yes, Malcolm X said, who told you? Who told you your nose was big? Who told you your hair was? Who told us that our men was no good? They did. Somebody whispered it. And somebody in rightful man's ear. And I'm going to always use him as an example because that's who he reminds me of. I'm telling you, he would be one of them coons that would come up here, white voice, whisper something in his ear. He going to bring it to our groups. I don't want to hear your mouth. Shut the hell up and sit down and learn something. I'm just saying. He is that type of brother, not even a brother, a coon, that will come up and whisper something. They whisper in his ear and he take it back and dump it in the Black community. And then we pile on it and eat it and everybody gets poisoned. That's like what do you call, what is that like? What used to be a pesticide or something. One animal, or if you would back in the day, if you had any kind of roaches or rats, and I'm being very vulgar, yes, they would get the poison on them, then bring it back to the whole clan, and everybody would die because it was something on that rat or whatever insect fur or skin, whatever they had, and they would bring it back to the family, and everybody would die. And that's exactly what Rifle Man does. He goes and here's a white boy, then he goes and dump it. I'm just saying, a person like him, maybe, I'm just saying, y'all understand what I'm saying, but he'll bring that to us and drop it off and leave it and see who's going to fester on it. I'm not festering on nothing you bring, because I understand I understand the assignment. And if we don't understand the assignment, this is what we're looking at today. We don't understand the assignment. We have to understand the assignment. Hi, somebody. I'm just reading, trying to read the comments. I may not read a lot of them, but I read them afterwards because I can't look at comments and then concentrate. I can't do two things at one time. I'm sorry, y'all. I'll mess up something. I hope you guys can hear this. I'm going to play this. Let me know if you can't hear it.
Plus News, I'm Nichelle Woods. Black people in America have long worked to lessen the gap between whites when it comes to building wealth. Slavery, redlining, and even the family dynamic within the home have all played a role in making the task more difficult to complete. Government assistance was created in the 1930s to solve a temporary issue. However, society showed that these benefits could be necessary long term. As time has gone on, government assistance became a mainstay in many Black households to help make ends meet.
Why did you hear her? She said at first it was something that was going to be temporary. They were just trying it to see the effects, but they knew the effects because they studied us. They told you it was going to be temporary, but they already knew we're going to keep them out of the houses. But understand something, Black folk are the only ones our men are the only men that they keep out of the houses. Ukraine, they brought them here. They were able to get in, stay together, right? They didn't separate the Ukrainians. They never separate white folk. They never separate foreigners. Chinese have their men and women. I've seen them in the same house, driving Mercedes, coming to get food stamps. I've seen that. I'm just saying. They've never once told foreigners or white folk that you got to leave your husband or you got to be separated to have Section 8. Because I've seen white stay together in the project, living together, and nobody told them to separate. I'm just saying. But we don't know their tactics. We're not learning their tactics. But let's keep going. I'm going to try not to talk. I'm going to try to let her, it's only 8 minutes. I'm going to try to let her finish.
With many of the Black homes receiving government assistance being headed by single Black women, questions come into play about just how beneficial this would be for Black people. There's no denying that Black people live in poverty at higher rates than whites, and that government assistance does help with food, rent, and other necessities each month. On the other side of the spectrum lies the issue of broken homes and the poverty that comes from receiving government assistance, ironically enough. Considering both sides, the million-dollar question becomes, did government assistance ruin the Black family? Like many things, government assistance was given sparingly, if at all, to Black families in the early 1900s. In 1935, following the Great Depression, President Franklin D. Roosevelt established the Social Security Act of 1935 with intentions of assisting the elderly, dependent children, and those who had lost their jobs as a result of the Depression. Despite the fact that Black families were clearly more impoverished overall, the assistance given out overwhelmingly went to white families. Information taken from the Child Support Hustle revealed that with the New Deal, state legislators began to pass bills that supported single mothers called Mother's Pension. Since the states operated these programs, administrators were not regulated by federal government. The lack of governing of the Mother's Pension program meant that states could deny services and money to qualifying Black mothers. This aspect of the law caused great issues as it would set the precedent for caseworkers and states to set forth even more provisions in order to keep Black families from receiving government assistance or giving up something of equal value in order to receive such help. While the practice was illegal with no penalty for continuing it, the tactic became more common, allowing caseworkers to essentially control people's lives. Rules regarding a suitable home were enacted without giving Black people a clear idea of what that would entail. In the South specifically, Blacks saw great pushback when it came to receiving government assistance, with states posing stipulations that discouraged a complete Black family. Alabama is one state that stands out as the state independently submitted a plan in 1964 about a substitute parent rule that would effectively harm Black families specifically. Aspects of the proposal stated that a child would have a substitute father, hereby disqualifying their home from receiving government assistance if a substitute father lives in the home with the child's mother for the purpose of cohabitation, if he frequently visits to cohabitate with the mother, or if he does not frequent the home but cohabitates with the child's natural or adoptive mother elsewhere. These facts are telling as they show a direct
Why would it matter? Why would it matter if my husband is there? You know, I'm married. You know, I have a family. Why would it matter? And you know, you took the jobs away. You know, you placed drugs in our neighborhood. You know that you did all this. Why would it? And I understand. Why would it matter if my husband is there or not? But we have to understand, with us working together, what would that have done? Because it's always two incomes is better than one, right? So if I'm making money, but I can only make a little bit of money, but they're going to give me maybe 100 or 200 or whatever, how, I don't know, maybe $300 or $400 to help. But guess what? If me and my husband had stayed together back in the day, I'm just saying, if a husband and wife had stayed together back in the day, two incomes is better than one at any time, right? But this was a time where white women were staying at home with their children. White women weren't coming out of the house working. The white man was making enough money to take care of his whole family. What was wrong with that picture? White men at home, white women, well, white men were working, white women was at home, but the black woman had to be out and about working at some white woman's house, cleaning her house, taking care of her babies when you left your babies at home. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. But this is the mentality we were thinking about because my mom did it. That was a slavery mentality. Because if you don't understand how families, generations were passed down to these white families. For instance, back in the day in slavery, if a mom was working for Lulabelle and the mom died, Lulabelle, just say Lulabelle died, right? Lulabelle had the woman in the will to pass down her daughter. So you stayed in the family for generations until, and then your daughter came along and worked with Lulabelle. So now the mom died and, and the slave or the grandma that was working for Lulabelle, now she dies and then her daughter takes over. And I've seen that and I'm like, why would we not want to try to do something or come together to help us? Why is it that we've always had to reach out for other people to help us or to think they're going to help us? Because don't we understand yet that everything that they do for us is for our demise? Do we understand that? I don't think we still get that. Every program like this, for instance, was for our family's demise, right? But we don't understand that. What is it going to take for us to understand that a lot of stuff that they have in place now, it's not to help us? And we can see the result. Look at everything that they're helping us with and tell me the results are bad or good.
Attack on the black man by giving an ultimatum of them being in the home, even for a short period of time versus receiving help. With the black marriage rate lowering from the 1960s on, cohabitating was common throughout the country. While again, there could seem to be benefits in this way, statistics have proven that the creation of these single-parent homes through the type of legislation has a lasting impact. These new laws, beginning in 1964 from Alabama and other states, paralleled the passing of the Great Society laws passed in the same year that saw government assistance change, possibly for the worse. The Institute of Family Studies sheds light on this fact, stating, it was estimated that in 1975, a household head would have to earn $20,000 a year to have more resources than what could be obtained from Great Society programs. In today's dollars, that's over $90,000 per year in earnings. That may be a reason why in 1964, only 7% of American children were born out of wedlock compared to 40% today. One can see through this tactic that the government purposefully incentivized these women to have more children out of wedlock, as the type of money being offered, even in more modern times, is hard to come by as a salary for.
Then I just tell you, everything that they come up with for us is for our demise. Everything. We have to understand that. Soon as we understand that, you'll stop looking for them for anything. And we have to get to the point where we are helping us. We are building and we're developing and we're putting our monies together. We have to. Because if we don't, we keep looking for enemies to build us up and to bless us and to help us to get out of where we are. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Just like we keep voting, hoping and praying. Oh, this time, ooh, these boy, I just know we're gonna get free this time. I know they're not gonna do anything. They got Cory Booker getting ready to put like $1 trillion bill together for reparations. Really? Do you really think they're gonna give you something? See, that's gonna get a lot of black folk voting again for Democrat. Don't we understand? We don't understand the tactic they got. They're paid. These are paid coons. Everybody in the Black Caucus are paid coons to bribe. Come on, that's what we're gonna come together. And what we're gonna come up with now to bribe these niggas. How we gonna get them this time? How we gonna get them? We can't use Trump because we used Trump already. So how we gonna get reparations? They want reparations. So let's put something together. If you're gonna give it to us, you better give it to us before you vote. Time to vote. I'm gonna tell you, black folk we gotta be smart. If they're gonna give you something, they better get it to you before voting time. Else y'all better not vote for them. But I don't vote for them anyway. I'm just saying we have to stop. They're not going to give you anything. They still dangling that carrot, and we still keep chasing that carrot. We got to stop. Let's continue.
For anyone, much less a Black man or a woman. In the early to mid 1990s, Black households saw a peak when it came to fatherless homes, as nearly 70% of Black families saw this as their reality. This number had remained relatively unmoved for decades before dropping back down, and there are still government programs and benefits that people know they could be in danger of losing due to other people. There have even been several Black women refusing to get married in fear of losing their benefits, as they will receive more money personally from the government than they could from a job by not having the man present. On the other side of the spectrum, however, statistically, these homes still end up with children living in poverty, as marriage, according to the IFS studies over time, will position these families to have more money and be able to survive long term, as the two incomes, even with the women's lowering, over time would position these families to maintain. These women choosing not to marry was not a simple choice, but more so a government tactic forcing them to choose between money and family. Another major change that may or may not have played a role in damaging the Black family was the transparency needed from government assistance recipients as time went on. Welfare and other assistance would be given to those that showed need, giving the government access to bank account information and essentially one's entire life to determine eligibility. For the Black family, this would lead to a surge in improper spending and the trading of benefits for another. Selling of one's food stamps became popular in the 1980s and beyond, whether it be for cash or another benefit. With some families already receiving cash assistance on top of other benefits, the existence of these programs led some to try and find new ways to qualify in order to receive more money. While it is much more difficult today to have one government assistance program provide more money than one can make in a year, it is still very possible to combine programs to be able to provide everything a person would need. Possibly the biggest factor to consider when it comes to government assistance is how it spiked the rate of child support cases in the Black family. Once many of these women had gotten the man out of the house to receive their benefits, they realized quickly that this money, depending on how many children are present, would not be enough to sustain a home. Lawyers in the 1990s would even work.
Why did it take so long for us to figure that out? I mean, it wasn't like we couldn't do math. He's bringing maybe, I'm going to say maybe 500 at the time. I'm thinking he's bringing 5, I'm bringing 5. That's 1,000. I'm just saying. Why did it take us so long to figure this out? Nobody could sit down and say, okay, honey, you bringing this home, I'm bringing this home. Or why don't we look into, even if you create, sometimes you got to create your own. You got to create your own. You know what I'm saying? And we have to be creative. Just like right now, we need warehouses. We need things in our community, to for instance, I came up with that idea as far as the flea markets. It's not a flea market, but it's a building that we can pool our monies together. And you sell purses, one sell shoes, one sell jeans, one sell coats. So I'm just coming up, whatever you sell, right? Whether you selling food or hair products, or whether you're doing hair, why not? At least 50 people in one building. We have those stalls. Okay, I've seen this. And I'm telling you, I went to the flea market in Winston-Salem, and it's huge. And Mexicans, it's a lot of, it's Black people in there, but it's more Mexicans than it is Black people. But they have them separated, and you're paying probably like 60 or 70, probably $100 a week, right? But you're making money because this is your own business. I don't think they're doing $100 a week, but I'm just saying they have a little sectioned off, but everybody's paying rent. Okay. So therefore everybody, the buildings, the rent is being covered for the building. The lights are being covered. And I don't know if they have heat in there or not, but I'm just saying Why don't we have our same? Why don't we do the same? Went to Mexico, right? And I seen where on the streets they have street vendors. Okay, why can't we do that here? Even these, especially in the winter, in the summertime, you know. But it's things that we can do now for a legacy for our children. We have to start somewhere. If we don't start somewhere, what kind of legacy are we leaving for the future generation? Answer that question. Ask yourself that. What legacy are you leaving your grandchildren today, right now? Or what legacy, if you don't have children, what legacy will you leave your children? In the next 10 years, 20 years, what legacy will we leave our children? And that's what I work hard towards. I work hard to leave my children some type of legacy.
Pro bono on a case dealing with child support, giving these women more confidence in taking the father of their children to court and receiving more money.
More
Courts
taxes.
notoriously gave men payments to make that were outlandish, with penalties that would make it impossible for them to get the money needed. This action, unsurprisingly, would lead to an uptick in crimes committed by many Black men of the time. In a published,
did it really create more crime, or did it create I remember Black men was going in jail. I remember one time I worked for the court and I lived in Arizona. This was years back. And I remember I was working in the court and I looked and I seen the one day was the Black folk came, the next day too, another day Mexicans came. They never came to court together, right? Because they didn't want you to understand. And I said, let me sit in the child support. And I will never forget this. I saw how the Black men was going to jail. They were being fined. And the white men was like getting off. None went to jail. Very seldom fines. They always came with an excuse of why they couldn't pay child support, or they didn't show. And then the woman the guy was given chance after chance after chance, but let the Black man not show. And that's how I began to understand what was really going on. Why didn't you because I used to wonder why it took a while for me to understand. Wait a minute, I don't see no Black people. I don't see no white people here on, when it was a certain day. And I was like, hold on, let me see what's going on. Let me go inside the court. Let me just listen to see what's going on. And I was shocked at what I was seeing. Like, hold on. The Black guy yesterday had this and this happened. So I began to but if we don't know this, we think everybody's being treated like you. They're not. Black women can't have men on Section 8. White women can, Mexican women can, Indian women can, but Black women can't. But we don't know that because we have nothing to compare to, because we're not talking to each other to say, because we think it's happening to everybody, and it's not.
Paper by Harvard alum Fritz Foley, one can see the correlation between crime and welfare payments as the text reads. Analysis of daily reported incidents of major crimes in 12 U.S. cities reveals an increase in crime over the course of monthly welfare payment cycles. The jump reflects increases in crime that are likely to have a direct financial motivation, like burglary, larceny, theft, motor vehicle theft, and robbery. Taking into account the countless issues that come from having a record when it comes to making money, on top of systemic racism, especially in years past, one can see clearly how this assistance ruined the lives of many Black fathers and children at the very least, as their fathers would spend years in jail, and with the overwhelmingness of being a single parent, the children suffer as well in ways unimaginable. There can be debate about the reasoning behind certain decisions Black families made. However, the need for more assistance is clear. Families selling stamps for cash, fathers being kicked out of the homes, and caseworkers who acted as an extension of the government while breaking the law all played a role on how government assistance would affect Black people. The need for assistance is obvious, especially in the present as a recession looms over society. Nevertheless, it is clear that there are major issues with government assistance that have plagued Black families for decades. If assistance is given to elevate a person in order to help them become more independent, one should ask themselves if this seems like the case when it comes to Black people. With a history of struggle and suffering despite this help, it may not be a foregone conclusion that assistance ruined the Black family, but many can argue it did little to help, as Black families today see nearly half of their homes without a father and are still financially trying to catch up in society. Stay up to date with the latest news in comedy, music, and sports by subscribing here to our YouTube channel.
I want you guys to see this. All this was done on purpose, people. We don't understand that yet. Look at this, forcing Black men out of society. How did they do that? Let's read a little bit about that. And we're still doing it, but we don't even recognize what's happening. We don't even recognize that over half of our Black men are in jail. I've been seeing more and more YouTube channels where the father is coming out, getting out of jail, been pretty much in jail for like half of the child's life. He comes out of jail and the kid's like maybe 10 or 15, 10 or, about 10, 12 years old now. And I'm like, and one little kid, I guess the mom had the dad with her and went to pick the little boy up from school. So the little boy's come out of school and the dad's sitting there. He's like, oh my God, because he hadn't seen the dad in like years. That's what they said. And the boy looked like he was maybe about 12 years old. This is what society, this racist ass country has done to Black people. And we still don't understand it. We're still not putting our heads together to say, how can we stop this? What can we do in order to stop this? How can we stop this stuff? This stuff has been going on since 1965, right? Well, slavery really, because even in slavery days we couldn't, they had to ask master if they can get married. Then when they got married, then master would come in and sleep with the woman, and then a woman looking at the man and the man looking at the woman, and he couldn't do anything. Then the woman's mad because, so you have to understand this stuff has been going on for 400 years, 500 years. I'm just saying, since slavery it's been going on, and we have not come to the table yet to say how do we stop this? How do we stop this? We have not come to the table yet to understand that. Tell me why. This is ridiculous. It should not be still going on, and we have not come up with a plan yet. And it's been going. See the results. You see the results getting worse and worse, right, with our kids, worse and worse. But what are we doing to fix it? What are we doing? We're looking, waiting on. Well, what you think we need to do? Well, what you think we need to do? Well, why don't everybody do their part, and we bring it together, and it's a whole circle in order to save our culture. But the more they throw in the Black man in the fire, and the more they throw the Black woman in the fire, the more we fight together in the fire. It's like, no, let me help you to get out the fire. Let us help each other show me how to get out. Let me help you to get out. Here, let me push you up, and the next person, will you push me up? Next person, and everybody pushing somebody up. That's not what we do. Well, I'm down here, you're going to stay down here too. Well, in the world, we got to do something. We are too scared and too selfish and too much. Yep, you're right. You're right. So let's talk about this. How are they forcing Black men out of society? An analyst in the Times, right, 1.5 million missing Black men, missing 1.5 missing Black men. Isn't it missing women and children, right? Okay, women and children are being missing also. So they really just one day at a time, one at a time. If they get, well, it's not going to just be one, it's several at a time. We got 52. I'm just saying, it's not just going to be one at a time, one a day. Even if you kill one a day, that's 365. If you do that every year, come on, that adds up, right? I'm just saying, come on, you guys, let's talk about this. 1.5 million missing Black men show that more than 1 in every 6 Black men in the 25 to 54 age group has disappeared from civic life, mainly because they died young through being murdered. Okay, let's just be real, being murdered, or are locked away in prison. This means that there are only 83 Black men living outside of jail for every 100 Black women. You guys get that? In striking contrast to the white population, where men and women are about equal in numbers. But even they decreasing now, right? Because they're not reconstruct. They're not reproducing, right? So they're disappearing too. Let's not get it twisted. This astounds shortfall in Black men translates into lower marriage rates, more out of wedlock births, a greater risk of poverty for families, and by extension, less stable communities, right? We don't have any communities. Why aren't we building communities? Why aren't we buying land? Why aren't we looking into stuff like this? The missing men should be a source of concern to political leaders and policymakers everywhere. Is it? Nope. Why would they care? They're doing just what they plan to do. It's happening. Just what they're planning to do or have planned to do. It's happening, right? Bakari, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. While the 1.5 million numbers is startling, it actually understates the severity of the crisis that has befallen African American men since the collapse of the manufacturing industrial centers, which was quickly followed by the war on drugs and mass imprisonment, which drove up the national prison population more than sevenfold beginning in the 70s. And that's when they put drugs in your neighborhood and came up with all of this locking up our men. And then in the 80s, Biden, and then Clinton, and then I think it was 84, it was Biden, and then 89 or something, it was Clinton or something. But I know they was in the 80s, they was like acting a fool. I mean, big time with those Biden laws. Okay. In addition to the missing millions, more are shut out of society or are functionally missing, okay, because of the shrinking labor markets for low skilled workers, racial discrimination, or sanctions that prevent millions who have criminal convictions from getting all kinds of jobs. And this is done on purpose. You mean to tell me I can learn how to do welding in prison? I can learn how to, and this is where Ram in the bush comes in. This is what I keep telling people. We can build our own tables, but people still looking like they're crazy. And I'm like, what's your talent? Work your talent. You have talents. Work your talents. You don't have to beg them for nothing. They come out of prison with absolutely no money. None, none, right? They go to a halfway house, right? Then they have to get a license. Where you get the money from? You don't have a job. You got to get a job. Okay. You're going to get a job making what? Peanuts. But you were trained in prison to do a job in the prison system that you can't do out here. Make it make sense. I've seen that. I said, what you do in prison? Oh, I was a welder. Okay, well, why can't? Well, they want to ask you. My thing is, if you went to jail for 20 years for a crime, why when you come out is your slate not clean? You spent 20 years in a freaking jail cell, right? So when you come out your jail, it should be white clean. Okay, now let me give you a better start. Let me give you a good start. Let me help you to get on your feet because I know you did this. Let's do this over here so that we can give you another chance at doing what you need to do better. That's not the world we live in. It should be. It's for everybody else. It works except Black folk. But we are the smallest, but the biggest in prison. That makes no sense, you guys. But we won't come together. The Jews have their little, hey, they got their little cubs where they, put monies toward the families that come in. They, have these little, but we have to understand it's going to take us to free us. And if we don't care about us, nobody else is. At the same time, the surge in imprisonment has further stigmatized Blackness itself, so that Black men and boys who have never been near a jail now have to fight the presumption of criminality in many aspects of day-to-day life, encounters with police, in schools, on the streets, and on the jobs. So you never, ever get any peace, ever. How is that possible? I'm so surprised that Black men have just not lost their freaking minds. Seriously, you are every day that you open your eyes, it's a possibility that you can be falsely accused, okay? Or a Karen can call the police on you, or you can lose your job, or you can just be arrested for absolutely nothing, or mistaken identity. I'm just saying, how many police officers or how many of our Black men are in jail because a police officer lied on them and placed drugs on them or did some other stuff? We already know the police department has been infiltrated. We saw movies telling us that, showing us that, right? Literally, America knows that. What does America do about it? Absolutely nothing. So why aren't we doing something about it? I'm serious. That movie that I saw a brother fight back. I saw it. Why aren't we doing that? Just like I'm looking at this Shakila, the little girl that went to Mexico and she died, right? Her friends or her, I don't know what you call them, murderers. She took murderers who she thought was friends, took them to Mexico with her. America is refusing to prosecute. Mexico has refused to prosecute. They're not doing anything with the case, right? So you just took a group of people to Mexico, you died, And Mexico's like, oh, just another nigga. Who cares? Erica's like, same thing up. And whatever, who cares? So what do? How do we handle that? Do we actually take stuff into our own hands to make them do what needs to be done? If they're not doing their jobs, who's going to make them? Why aren't we making them? Why are we not holding them accountable? Why are we not holding even people now? Black folk, you are Democrat. I mean, you are hardcore Democrats. Why aren't you holding your representatives' feet to the fire right about now? It's a lot of Black folk being shot dead by police. Why are we not holding our representatives' feet to the fire? You want my vote, but this is going on. Black Caucus, you want my vote, but this is going on. We don't say anything. It's almost like we ignore it. They ignored we too. Well, I don't see anything too. Well, let's put a little hand in the sand. I'm gonna look down and I'm gonna act like I don't see it, just like everybody else. When do we look out for us? When do we make sure that we good? When do we do for us? Ever? Are we tired yet? Guess not. Let's keep reading. Let's keep reading. This is ridiculous. The data on missing African American men. Hold on, let me get this off the screen. It's not particularly new. Every census for the last 50 years has shown the phenomenon. In earlier decades, premature deaths played a large role than it does today. Why would they say that? Do you think that's true? I don't think that's true. We're still dying premature, right? Our boys are still dying. We just had one to die. He was 30 years old on train, got choked out by this white supremacy. And these white folks sitting up here praising this dude because you choked out a Black man and give teeth. They collected what? Over $2.5 million for this man, this murderer. And we okay with that? Okay. I'm just saying. It's too much stuff we just letting slide. We're just letting too much slide because we don't want to make white folk mad. We don't want to cause them to start shooting us, to start killing us. Well, they're already doing that. So what the hell are you waiting for? They're already doing that. You're dying, doing nothing. Why not? If you're going to die for changing your situation. Don't just die because you're sitting up at 9 people sitting up in the church. And everybody looking at Dylan Roof and he got a gun. And how many men was in that church? 9 people total to one person. One. Nobody could think about how we're going to take this dude down. Nobody could think of that. Well, I'm just going to be dead. Okay. I'm going to just go out like that. No, we go out fighting. I'm sorry. I don't believe in just sitting around. Okay, he got it. Okay, what we going to do? We got to come, somebody should have been looking at each other like 1, 2, 3. We're going to 1, 2, 3 move together. You can only shoot one of us at a time. If all of us running out, if all of us coming, he can only get one shot off at a time. He didn't have come on, you guys. We got to, I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy. I don't know. Let's just read. In earlier decades, premature deaths played a large role than it does today. But since the 1980s, the rising numbers of Black men who were spared premature death was more than offset by the growing numbers shipped off to prison. Many for nonviolent drug offenses, and they got years. I remember back in the day, this was probably in 85, 86. Black men for marijuana was getting so much time just for even a bag was like, they was getting like 20 years. I mean, they was getting so much time. And then they told you, well, crack, you got the cocaine, you're good. That's not as dangerous as crack. And it's like, it's the same thing. What are you talking about? But they gave white folk less time. We all know that. But I'm telling you, back in the day, you was going to jail for like 30 years. I mean, you almost got life. You still got some people that went to jail in the 80s still there for a bag of marijuana, a $5 bag. I remember those. I'm just saying. But they got so much time because they criminalized Black people. The drug war on drugs. When you was bringing it in, CIA bringing it in, CIA was bringing it in, right? Dumping it in, and we know this, but nobody pays the price for that. Nobody ever pays for what they do to us. We don't make them pay. Police officers kill us. We don't make them pay. White folk dressing up in black masks. We don't make them pay. We'll see them. We'll see them in a blackface and still do nothing. Well, I seen he was in the next car. He had a black mask on. He took the mask off. And why aren't we making them pay for the mistreatment of us? There's no consequences ever for what they do to us. So guess what? They keep doing it. Because they ain't gonna do nothing. We got this. They ain't gonna do nothing ever. They never do nothing. But forgive us. I'm just saying. This is ridiculous. The path to that you guys know what I'm saying, was paved catastrophe. Woo, goodness, was paved by what the sociologist William Julius Wilson described as the disappearance of work, which devastated formerly coherent neighborhoods. As the industrialization got underway, earnings declined, neighborhoods grew poorer, and businesses moved to the suburbs beyond the reach of inner city residents, as Mr. Wilson wrote in his 1996 books, When Work Disappears. Do we not understand that back in the day, Black folk were always the money? They always were the ones to buy. So when businesses went into the suburbs, we started going out to the suburbs, still buying. We chased them. So when they would move, we go out there. No, why didn't see this? We have to understand ways of how we can force people to do what they need to do. Because guess white folk don't buy stuff. They really don't. They don't spend a lot of money. Black folk is the one that hold the economy together. So at any moment, we can make them do what they need to do, because holding your money means a lot, because power for them is money, right? Holding your money would cause a lot of damage to America, even to today with the recession. Holding your money would really get some people's attention, but we won't do that. We'll get our taxes and go and bet. I've seen it, and buy a $2,000 TV. What the hell do you need a $2,000 TV for? I'm just saying, this is not. We'll take a check that Biden gave us. I remember that the little stink check that they gave, a little $1,200 check, right? People was buying. It was in Walmart. Going bananas, and I'm like, why aren't you doing something else, even with your taxes? I've known Black women to get like $8,000, $10,000 for taxes. What are you doing with it? What are you doing with it? It's not making sense, you guys. It's not. We've got to stop. Why are we not pulling our monies together? That's enough money to pull together to create something, get a building, and sell your products. We have more Black people getting into businesses now. Why are we still struggling here? Why are we still not wanting or opening up our own shops? Why are we not still promoting and supporting our own? We got to get. Sally over here is selling sea moss, right? But you'll go and order it from Amazon. I'm just saying, or you'll go and order it from a white woman. What the hell does she know about sea moss? I'm just saying. We still, like, for instance, Black women like to get their nails done. Why don't we see more Black-owned shops with nails? We can get 5 nail techs together, right? And they can open up their own nail shop. You're smart. You can start real small, right? With your taxes. You just got your taxes, 5 ladies come together. You got 8, you got 8, you got 8. That's money right there, right? Open up your own shop. You can have caterers come together. Open up your own caterer. Bakery. I'm just saying, these are things that we can do if we work together. We can get out of this at any moment that we decide, but we won't. We won't pull our monies together. I'm just saying, come on, you guys. For the first time in the 20th century, most of those in many poor inner city neighborhoods were not working. Jobless became the norm, creating a non-working class that lived in segregated areas where most residents could not find jobs or had given up looking. In Chicago, where Mr. Wilson carried out his research, employers wrote off the poor by not advertising in places where they could see the ads. The situation was so grave in the 1996 that he recommended the resurrection of the Works Progress Administration-like strategy, under which the government would provide public employment for every American over 18 who wanted it. The stigmatization of Blackness presents an enormous obstacle, even to small boys. That I know, even last year, our teens were not working in the summer. Have you noticed? Used to be summer jobs, right? Used to be where they could go out and they could work, and they had summer things. We had summer camp, right? We had these churches were open for summer school. We played even summer schools. The schools were open for the summer. We used to swim. We used to go and have recreation. Remember that? The recreations we used to have, like the Monday through Friday, the schools were open for the kids. So when moms went to work, the kids had something to do. All them programs, Reagan took all those programs away. Why? Because they said we need more than black babies to get in trouble so that we can put their black behinds in jail. And that's exactly what they did. Last year, for example, the Department of Education reported that Black children were far more likely to be suspended from school. See what I'm saying? You have to understand everything that comes up with our babies is done on purpose to get us into their prison system, okay, into their system, even from preschool. Now, why is a preschool baby? What is he doing to get in trouble? To be, what is a preschool baby doing to get suspended? What's he doing so bad? I'm just saying. Come on now. Than white children. Federal cases have also showed higher rates of public school suspensions for minority students than for white students for identical behaviors. Right. We know that. But we still don't take our children out of their schools, right? We know this. We know what's happening. All of this we know. But what are we doing about it? What are we doing to counteract it? What are we doing different? We say we woke. That's what gets me. We say we woke, but we do nothing different. So are we really woke? Are we? Suggesting the racial discrimination against Black males start very early in life, which it does. Why do you think it starts so early in life? Because I know men that are 50 years old that are suffering from stuff that happened to them in kindergarten. That this teacher, and I have a guy friend there, right? And we were talking, and he said, "Man, I remember this," and he remembers the man's name and everything. I was like, "You still remember the guy's name? He still remember the teacher's name that told him that he would know that he would never." Like amounts, because he wanted to be something. He said it was something he really wanted to do. He wanted to be something. I can't even remember what it was, but whoever told him couldn't do it. And that stopped him from really pursuing that dream. I said, how could you allow somebody to tell you what you can't do? How many times do we hear that we'll tell our vision to a teacher? They'll ask you, because they do this all the time. They'll ask you, hey, so-and-so, what do you want to be when you grow up? Then you'll tell them and they say, oh, you can't do that. That's that's for blah, blah, blah. Or you're not. And they will actually make you feel bad in front of the whole class by telling you, well, you know what, if you get better grades on that test, I'm gonna give you and they actually make these boys, and I've seen it, feel really bad in school, okay, in front of everybody. So what does that do to a boy? What does that do to a young man that you've just been embarrassed big time in front of these kids? You're already getting picked on, you're already being made fun of, and you got a teacher that's egging it on. Because kids watch the teacher's reaction to things, right? And they know by filling this teacher out if they can mistreat somebody in their class or not. If she don't stand for it, oh, yeah, she'll stand for it. So that class is a wild kingdom class, because they know that teacher is going to not stick up for them. They know that the teacher's not going to have that person's back. They know what they can do, and we see it all the time. Because students do stupid stuff all the time, dealing with hurting Black folk, doing stupid stuff, calling them slaves, auctioning them off, even in schools. I've seen this. What happens? Teacher says nothing. So all of this goes on with the teacher sitting right there, and teacher said, I don't know nothing. I didn't see nothing. I was outside the class, or I had my back. I was writing on the. I've heard stupid stuff like that. What do you mean you're not in class? You don't hear? Your ears don't work because your back is turned and you're writing on the board? Really? Okay, make it make sense. They just tell us anything and we just buy it. We just bite into it. So we bite into all of this crazy stuff. I'm not going to read all of it. Well, you know what? Okay, hold on, I will, because it's not that much. Sociologist from Harvard, professor who has meticulously researched the efforts of race for hiring policies, has also shown the stereotype have powerful effects on job possibilities. In one widely cited study, she sent careful selective test applicants with evaluation equivalent resumes to apply for low-level jobs with hundreds of employers. And I've seen this. I promise you, I've seen this with guys with degrees not employed. not even trying. I mean, they won't even hire them. I'm seeing this. Men are not working. I did a story about this. And now it's to where the women aren't working. What degrees? So you've moved the needle again. So now you have to have masters for some of these jobs. Why? You didn't hire me when I had a bachelor. So why am I going to get more in debt? Because you can get an education loan. You can't get nothing else. They'll put you in debt because that money don't go to you. It goes to the school. You understand what I'm saying? So they'll put you in debt. Then they move in the needle. Oh, now you need a master's degree. What do I need a master's degree? You're not even hiring me when I had a bachelor's. So why would I go back to school for a master's degree? Okay, this is crazy. Mr. Pager, Miss Pager found that criminal convictions, hold on, convictions for Black men seeked employment were virtually impossible to overcome in many contexts. And it's still impossible today. Or they'll pay you what, $10, $12? What grown man can pay? What grown man can take care of family on $12 an hour, even on $15 an hour right now? And I still see it where they hiring $10 and $12 AutoZone. I went in there because I was, at the time my son was looking, my husband's son, he was looking for a job, right? And I went in there and I said, oh, AutoZone might be pretty cool. So I asked the guy, I said, what y'all making up in here? He said $10. I didn't know they paid people $10 an hour. These are grown men. Why are you work? See, this is what I'm saying. Why would you accept that? If AutoZone didn't have anybody that would accept that $10 an hour, they would boost that pay up. Why don't you think they would boost the pay? Okay, well, maybe we better give them a little bit more because $10 is just not enough. Those men are working there faithfully, making $10 an hour. And I'm like, how are you taking care? Oh, I have 2 and 3 jobs. Why should you, being a grown man, work 2 and 3 jobs? Because this job right here won't pay you enough. So now I got to work 8 hours. That's $80. Then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to work another 8 hours. That for another company is probably going to give me 12. That's what, $22 an hour? But look at but you had to do 16 hours in order to make up a decent wage. Come on. That's just ludicrous, you guys. Come on. This is just okay, I'm trying to stay calm. I don't want to start hollering tonight. Y'all know I get upset. Okay. So let's keep talking about this. Impossible to overcome in many contexts, partly because convictions reinforce powerful, long-standing stereotypes. Okay. A stigma of criminal record was less damaging for white testers. In fact, those who said that they were just out of prison were as likely to be called back for a second interview as Black men who had no criminal history. Did you hear that at all? Being Black in America today is just about the same as having a felony conviction in terms of one's chance of finding a job, she wrote in the book. This is true. Race, crime, and finding work in the era of mass incarceration. In recent months, the many grievous cases of unarmed Black men and boys who were shot dead by the police, now routinely captured on video, show how the presumption of criminality, poverty, and social isolation threatens lives every day in all corners of this country, but we still do nothing about it, right? Okay, I'm getting ready to come over here for a minute. We still do absolutely nothing about it. Tell me why. I'm just saying. This makes no sense. I cannot make sense of any of it. But we still don't do for self. We still, sitting here waiting on the Democratic Party to do for us. We're still waiting for them to help us to be free. We're still waiting, still voting. And I had a lady the other day I was talking to, right? And she was talking about the Democratic Party. Oh, she's talking about she's talking about the Republicans. Then she talked about the Democrats, talked about, well, I know we better vote and blah, blah, blah. And I asked her, okay, you say we need to vote. Tell me what we're voting for. Just tell me what's being put on the books just for Black people, or better yet, just tell me in the past anything. Just name one thing. I just asked her to name me one thing that they've actually done for Black people. She could name me one thing. I know you can't, because they've not done anything just for Black people. But you're still, if we don't vote for them, then, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, this lady was like 80-some years old. And I'm like, you've been around a long time and you still talking about voting. You still have not got it yet. Tell me why. What is the problem? Why aren't we getting this? Why are we still running after them, trying to get something, white supremacy, who put you in this predicament to get you out? How how does that work? How does that work? I don't understand. I'm trying to understand. I just don't. I'm trying to get it. I don't know, y'all. I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to get it. I only wanted to come on here just to kind of introduce what we were doing, you guys. I wanted to really introduce where we're going with this whole thing. I got something next. I'm not going to talk about it right now, but we're going to talk about the fatherless in America. We're going to get down into this. We're going to really talk a lot about what's really going on. And we're going to really deal with some things, you guys, because right now we don't have a clue as far as what's really happening. Right. We don't want the responsibility. We don't want to do anything. We just want to wait for white supremacy and hope and pray. Please let them get better. Please let them stop killing us. Please, please. How about if you do something? How about if you do something to help them stop killing you? How about if you care? How about if you take laws into your own hands? How about if we start doing to them what they do to us? How about it? If we see that they're not going to do anything, what are we going to do? Are we going to sit here and continue begging them to fix your justice system? Stop killing us. Stop murdering us, please. Please, please, please. I mean, we've been begging for a long time and still nothing. It's getting worse, but we don't understand that, right? So what is it going to take for us to do for us? When are we tired? Why aren't we tired now? I only wanted to come on here to introduce what we're getting ready to talk about. We're going to talk about the Black family. We're going to talk about fatherless boys. We're going to talk about fatherless girls. We're going to talk about the missing piece of this whole puzzle is Black fathers not being in the home. Why are our children acting like they're crazy? Because Black fathers have left the throne. I don't care what nobody say. When the Black fathers get back on the throne, and what I hear from Black men is the women won't let us. No, you're the head. It's not the women won't let you. And I'm gonna come back to this when you are throwing the ball and you playing football. I'm getting ready to get my sports mixed up. When you playing, who's the thrower in football, okay? And if a blocker comes and he wants to take the ball and throw it, what are you gonna do? You're gonna look at him and say, "Dude, get in your place," right? Why aren't Black men saying that to women? Girl, get in your place. This is not your place. I got this. But you have to show them that you got this. You have to have a plan. You cannot come and tell me you got this, but I don't see no plan. I don't see you really rocking. Women need to know that you got them. Women need to know you got their backs. Women need to know that they can trust you. Women need to know that you got the security, the perimeter is safe. They need to know that they're secure. If women don't feel secure, they're not going to trust you. You got to show us that you know how to lead. And I'm going to tell you what, a woman will back up, get in her place. Once the man get in his place, the woman going to get in her place and the kids going to straighten up because the head is back, right? It's out of order. That's why your kid's out of order. The whole house is broken in. The whole house is out of order. When the house is out of order, the mom's out of order, the children out of order, the dog out of order, the cat out of order, the whole kit and caboodle is out of order until we get to the place where our men are back on the throne. And I don't care what woman tell you I don't need a man. Then either you're gay. I'm just saying, what woman don't need a man? That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And I don't understand why my phone is doing this. Okay. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's for a woman to tell I don't need a man. Well, what are you doing? What do you mean you don't need a man? Because I see some things happening where white supremacy is attacking Black women because they know we don't have backup. They know we don't have a man. They know you don't have a gun. They know that you didn't bring your candy bars with you and your peanuts. They know this. They know this. Because Black women are saying, we don't need a man. I don't need a man for nothing. What do you mean you don't need a? Who says that? Do we ever hear white women saying that? I never hear Asians saying that. I never hear white women saying that. I never hear any other race but Black women say, I don't need a man. I need mine. I don't know what y'all. I need mine. I'm just saying. I need my husband. So until we care, but until we start checking these women and checking these men, even on these YouTube channels, we got to start checking some of them. Stop watching this guy. Stop watching the drama. Stop watching Black women like Cynthia G. tell all this horrible stuff about Black men because she hates Black men. What is she gay? What's going on with? I just don't understand all of this hatred of your own. And you guys are so. We're talking about 145,000 people watching this woman insult black men. Black men watching her insult black men. Why? Make it. I need it to make sense. Black men are watching her. 45,000 people watching her tell black men, oh, welcome. Black is watching her tell black men, talking about horrible things about black men. Why? Why are we so attracted to drama? I have a TikTok page, right? Hard Truths. Y'all need to watch it sometime. Hard Truths, right? 1 2. Hard Truths 1 2. And when I talk serious on there, I don't get, you don't get a lot of playback, right? But if I go in there and act the fool, I can get, and I'm like, why have to? I know it's all about Black folk. It's all about family. Right now, for me, it's always right now. It's about me putting attention on the Black family. We are at a 911. Our men have got to get back on the throne, ladies. I'm serious. They have got. Do you see our boys? Look at our little boys. I can't tell right now if they boys or girls. The way they walk like girls. And then you have to look. Then you look. Some of the girls look like boys, and I can't tell with them either. This is not good. We have got to do better. We are just sitting. What are we waiting for? We are at a 911, and I don't think we recognize that we are in serious trouble right about now. You're gonna look around, and these boys gonna be with these boys. And my granddaughter's talking about, she's 14, right? And she goes to the school, right? She's a charter school. She was going to in Muslim school at first, and it was pretty cool, but it was super expensive. But she's talking about what's going on in schools, right? She's talking about the teachers. The teacher, she's white, right? In a Black school. And I do believe that this woman is on an agenda. I talk about her all the time. And she's allowing these boys to kind of, play with each other. And I mean, like rubbing up on each other in class. So you're seeing this and you're saying nothing. And the girls are kissing on girls. I mean, this is happening in class in front of this woman. But if you're on an agenda, you're not going to say anything. Because I know if it was my class, I'd be, look, come in. I'm just saying, you would have a dress code coming in my class. I'm just saying, it's just certain things that you wouldn't do in my class. And I will be teaching. And it bothers me. We have Black teachers that sit up there and watch this. That's what bothers me. This is a predominantly Black school, right? It's a charter school, which I still think it has a lot of public school attributes to it. But the white woman, this is what she's allowed. But you got mostly Black women in the school, and the school is out of control. Tell me why. You got a Black principal, you got Black teachers. Why are we not wheeling some of this stuff in? You are still allowing these children to act a fool? No, it's supposed to be a Black school. It's supposed to be different, right? Why are we walking in the halls and you seeing the same stuff that you would see in the public school with these white teachers that you're seeing amongst your own, and you're allowing it to make it make sense? So are we all gonna jump on their bandwagon and just allow our children to act a fool? Is that what we're doing now? We don't even want to control our children in our Black schools. So that makes me think, well, do we really want Black schools? I'm serious, because I'm looking at one, and I don't see no different than the Black school than the white school. The public schools. Should we have a different type of school? And if we say we woke, why aren't we doing things different? Why aren't we doing things different? Why are we not doing things different? At some point, we have got to get to the point where these are what we're going to teach. This is what we're going to do different. We're going to teach our little boys, and it starts with education. I don't care what nobody say. We have to start teaching our little boys. I'm Black and I'm proud. We have to start teaching our Black children that it's good to be Black. And this is where we do it. These are our spaces. Why are we not teaching our Black children how great it is to be Black? Because you got Black teachers that don't even want to be Black themselves, that's still being hard on our children because they've been hurt. So they're portraying some stuff out on our Black children. Because I'm telling you, I'm seeing some stuff with this Black school, and I'm like, I don't like this school. It just reminds me of whites. It's no different than their schools. It's supposed to be different. Why is it not different? Why are we not expecting our Black teachers to do something? This is where the learning and teaching comes for our families. This is where the teaching should happen. Have a heart-to-heart class. Have a Black family class. Have a class that's going to teach our boys how to be men. And men should be teaching these classes. I'm serious. This is where those fathers come in at. And we allow them to teach a class, a heart-to-heart class. And you bring the boys in those classes, number boys. And you have a heart-to-heart talk with your boys. And you get to know these boys. That is the only way that we are going to straighten up our babies. Somebody got to do it. Ain't nobody doing it now. You seeing Wild Kingdom in these schools and we not saying nothing. We just, well, ain't my child. It is your child. You're supposed to be your brother's keeper. Am I correct? Are we not our brother's keepers? We got these schools and we're not doing anything different. It's a charter school. It's the same as a public school, but if it's an all-Black school, that is an opportunity, Black folk, for us to start teaching some Black history. And guess what? They have a white woman teaching history. I'm just saying, what are we doing different? What are we doing different? We can't get mad at white folk for them doing what they're doing. You get mad at yourself because right now, this is Black folk fault. What you see in the Black community is Black folk fault, because when you understand what the job is and when you understand the mindset and when you understand the tactics, you do something different. No, we're following along. We're just following along. I don't want to hurt white folk feelings. So if they call my kids a predator, I call them predators too. If they tell us we have Black on Black crime, I say we have Black on Black crime too. Why aren't you checking that? Tell them you got enough to do with your white schools, with your children shooting up schools. Anybody come to me talking about Black on Black crime? You know what? You can have a whole seat until you straighten up the white on white crime in your neighborhoods where your children are shooting up schools. Have a whole seat. You have nothing to say. Sit down and listen, because we don't need any other cultures telling us what Black folks should do. No, let me tell you what you need to do, because you got stuff going on in your neighborhood too. Okay. I'm just saying, you don't come over here telling me nothing about being Black and you're not Black. And you got Black folk that'll sit up there. Oh yeah, go ahead, sister. Go. She's not a sister. Why is she's not even Black? And you talking about, go ahead, sister, what? Make it make sense. Then when I come on there and I'm bringing some Black truth, oh, they get mad at me. Oh, they get mad. They get mad at me. I don't care. Because, I'm going to say what I want to say. And I'm going to call them coons out. Your Black woman said what she said, that's okay. But she don't have no right to come over here and tell Black folk nothing. You sit down. When you come in a Black space, sit down and be quiet. You ain't got nothing to say. Can I say, no, you cannot. Have a seat. Learn something. Seriously. We don't come in their spaces telling them how to be white, do we? But we'll let them come in our spaces. I put the link in there if anybody want to come on, they can. I put the link in there. I think I did. I know what I did with it. Like, where's the link? Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm just saying, I'm like, what do I do with the link? Anybody want to come on? Because I wanted to kind of introduce. This is where we're going. We're going to talk about the Black family from here on out for a minute. We're going to talk about the Black family. I'm not going to be on here long. Real Talk says, speak it. Okay, thank you. Dual, she says that should be reported to the principal. Guess what, Dual? They have cameras in the classroom. So it's not like the principal. And I'm going to tell you what, my granddaughter, Lord bless her heart, she had a little boyfriend, right? So I had to get on her because she got caught. Look, she said, oh, grandma, it's just a little peck. I ain't no little peck. I ain't buying that. But anyway, she got told on, right? So she got suspended, right? But I told my daughter, I said, tell the principal to check the cameras in the teacher's class at Tote. Seriously. Because she was like, well, they be letting, She was telling me all, when you get in trouble, you tell everything, right? And I was like, well, thanks for telling me. I said, but you know what to do. Okay. So she didn't, talk. She didn't tell, my granddaughter, she didn't say anything. But then later on, she said, well, grandma, the same lady has this, that, and the other going on in her class. And I'm like, well, you should have told when you needed to tell. But my thing is, there's cameras in the class, so the principal knows. I'm sure he's looking at those cameras, but you're a principal and you're not even saying anything. See, this is what I'm saying. We don't hold each other accountable. We'll talk about that too. Why are we not holding each other accountable for stuff that we see that should be corrected and we're not correcting it? I'm just saying. But Dual, it's not just that classroom. Trust me, it's the other classroom that is happening in. So where do you put them? Where do you put them? This is why I believe that our teachers should be held accountable. We got to be held accountable. We should be the adults. We are brothers keepers, and we're not doing anything. We're not saying anything. We're just allowing this dysfunctional behaviors coming to school, switching. I'd be coming. We're gonna have a men's day. I need some men to come in these schools, and I need y'all to talk about this gayness going on. I'm serious. We need to handle this issue in our community. Well, it used to be a time we didn't even, that was a no. They did it, but we didn't. But now you got parents saying, "Well, I'm gonna let my child do everything." Shut up. Well, what are you parenting? Why are we parenting? You ain't gonna do that up in here. You ain't gonna act like that up in here. You can act like that when you get 18 and on your own and doing your own thing. You can act like that. You can switch around, but you ain't finna do it up in here. Seriously, come on now. When are we gonna be? When are we gonna do what we need to do? We allow too much stuff in our communities. Come here, boy. You ain't finna act like that. Let me tell you something. Parenting is parenting. It's just certain things you don't allow your boy to do. I see all these boys playing with dolls. What the hell are you playing with a doll for? Come here. Where your truck at? Go get your truck. You feel me? I'm just saying. What happened to that? We let too much stuff go. I'm sorry. We let too much stuff go. Don't bring that around me. If that's what you is, when you get grown, even when you get grown, don't bring that around me. I'm just saying that's dysfunctional. We're not going to act dysfunctional. And I talk to my granddaughter like this. That's dysfunctional because society tells you that it's okay. It's not. Society tell you a lot of stuff. They're dysfunctional. They tell you can sleep with dogs. You cannot sleep with your dog. I'm just saying. Society would say it's okay to be a pedophile. It's not. It's disgusting. It's nasty. Society tells you a pedophile can come into a girl's bathroom. It's not. I don't even let my granddaughter go to the bathroom. This is stuff that we as society, we as a people have got to start correcting. If we don't correct them, who's going to correct them? They not. Because they put it in your head. We allowing them to teach our children LGBT. All kind of crazy stuff going on. All kind of crazy stuff. Hey, Forecast, welcome.
What's going on?
Welcome. How you doing?
Not much. Oh yeah, I just came on real quick just to agree with you. You going in, I just wanted to come on and show you support. And to me, it's like we find the simplest reasons, the dumbest reasons, all that not to support each other. We're gonna find a way not to support each other when really that is all it's ever really took. You know what I'm saying? Like you were saying before, was it gonna take back then they knew they had no choice, so they had to work with each other, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, even today, you know what I'm saying, it's about who's serious about doing it. And then, even then when you're serious, talking is a part of it, you know what I'm saying, but action is the next part of it. At least if you're talking about action and the next plans that you're going to make, you know what I'm saying? But we will find simple reasons, easy reasons why even the people who we support the most will be like, oh, well, he sneezed one time and didn't tie his shoe the right way, so I can't support his movement, you know what I'm saying? But it is really about fear, you know what I'm saying? It's about fear of being responsible for yourself, because if you don't have the way to feed yourself, and you showed me the thing about the black farmers and they getting their land back and stuff like that, but all of these things need to be protected, you know what I'm saying? And not only protected, but just supported, because you know why? Like, we got food deserts anyway. So like, why not put a little bit of extra money into a black business? But we're going to find a way to be like, well, that person, you know what I'm saying, had looked the wrong way one time, you know what I'm saying? So I can't support this. And I'm starting to realize that it's not the truth. It's just an excuse, and it's fear. You don't want to be in control of your own destiny. It's a responsibility to be in control of your own destiny, and you have to protect what you got to build. But, I showed that little girl who was 8 years old, and the people talking about some damn forgiving, and the people ain't even apologizing or nothing. But this is the mindset that we have across the world, you know what I'm saying? And that, and I'm not saying everybody, of course not everybody. I'm just saying as a collective, I will hear more black men saying they'll make excuses for white people, but then say what is black, you know what I'm saying? But then turn around and use the term white and don't ask what is white. Tell you how not all white people is bad, but they gonna go out the way to tell you why all black people ain't good. You know what I'm saying? Like, and brother, like they just take any kind of history and just put it out there. You know what I'm saying? So like, I understand when people be like, yo, keep these people from the movement, but at the same time, like, we need the people who are serious about it. If we're going to be serious about it, you know what I'm saying? I think that we need to really start linking up more and doing the things that we need to do, you know what I'm saying? And I could get a lot better with that myself. So everything I say, I'm talking about me too, but I'm just saying, like, let's stop finding the excuses not to support each other. So that's all I really wanted to say, though.
Well, thank you for coming on, but we have to start like checking this behavior. We have to start somewhere, and we're not willing to start anywhere because we don't want to make white folk mad. It's not about them right now. Right now, it's about our children and our black families. We have to bring black families back. And I'm gonna talk about this, and I'm gonna talk about this, and I don't care if I repeat myself because we all know about that Kramer. What report is that? That Monahan report. I want to talk about. We know about that report. Nixon knew about that report, but didn't do anything about it because they didn't care. They knew. They research us. This is a sad part about it. They research everything about black people, so they know what was going to happen to us, to our families, to our boys, if we remove black men out the family. They knew. We just didn't know, but they already researched it. But we did it. We allowed it. We didn't come together. We accepted those $150 because I know it wasn't over $100 that we got in food stamps. I'm just saying. It was about the children, right? You got probably $100 per child, and you had $500 extra dollars, but food stamps or whatever. But what did we give up though? We gave up our families. We gave up our men. We gave up our unity. We don't have that protection. Black women don't understand that. We don't have that protection anymore because black men right now, they don't want to protect us. We don't want them to protect us. Who's gonna protect you? Dummy, you need your men. We can't protect us, and we don't want our men to protect us. Make it make sense. I can't. I keep this is stuff that's just not making sense to me. I'm I don't even know what to say right now. I'm done. I hope I said enough. I don't want to make these lives long.
Can I say one thing real quick? You mentioned the Mortar part. I'm actually on that part right now, so I'm like about to start doing extra research. I like did research, but I'm back over that part again. So like, yo, it's interesting. You said the Mortar report.
That thing
I'm right there now.
That thing right there, that report right there tells it all. It tells it all. If we would just pull up that report and continue, we need to teach that to our children. This is the report. But we act like it doesn't exist. We act like it doesn't. We don't know nothing about it. Or I don't know if we know something, but we don't. I don't even know what to say. Because like I said, we're at a 911. And if we don't get busy fighting right here, it doesn't matter right now whose fault it is. We blame it each other. We're going to talk about that, the blame. We're going to talk about the blame. How did it start? We don't even know. We just, you know how you have a family and these two families don't like each other. You don't even know where it came from. You ask grandma, why don't the Bakers like us? Well, I don't know, baby. The Bakers I don't know. When I was little, the Bakers didn't like us. So we just kept it going. And it could be for years. And you don't even know why the Baker family don't like you. And the Baker family don't even know. They didn't forget why they don't like you. They just don't. What in the world? What are we doing? Black men and women don't like each other for what? Where did it come from? We know where it came from, but how do we stop it? It's time to stop the madness. Plain and simple. I'm going to go broadcast. If you have any last words we want to say, I'm going to go. I think we said enough. We can't beat the dead horse. It is what it is. But we're going to talk more about the black family. We're going to talk about our men. We're going to talk about our fatherless girls. What is the result? What happens when our daughters don't have men in their lives? What happens? We see them. They having babies across you got 7th graders pregnant across the board. You got them talking about I'm gay. You're in the 7th grade, you hollering you gay. How do you know? Have you had a guy, a little boy? Have you had a boy? How do you know you're gay? What does that mean in 7th grade? Talk about you gay. Have you had a little boyfriend yet? No. Then where did they come from? Well, who's teaching that? The schools. Where are they learning it? From schools. And we see this as parents. Well, you know, it's just a phase. No, it ain't a phase. No, it's not a phase. It's time to get your children away from them. Because all that dysfunction is rubbing off. Because we didn't used to sleep with each other like that. Where did it come from? When you come together with them, you took on their characteristics. Just like women raising boys, they take on our characteristics. So we see the little boy fall and we run his moms and pick him up. We don't teach them how to get up themselves. We don't teach them how to toughen up. We see grown men whining and bitching and complaining like little girls. And then because they were raised up by their mamas. The mamas do the same thing. So what you expect the little boy to do? Because the dad don't never come get him. We need to understand the effects of that dad not being there. We need to understand the effects of that mom not being there when the dad is raising that boy. We need to know the effects even for little girls when their mom's not there and when their dad's not there. What's the effects? How important is the balance? How important is both parents? How important is that to a family to have both parents? Let's start picking better mates. How do we do that? By getting healed up. How do we make sure? By getting to know these people. Stop sleeping with these men and these women on first dates. You don't even know each other and you laying down with somebody you don't even know. Oh, he was just so cute. What the hell? But he crazy as hell. He's cute, but he's crazy. Beating on you now. You only knew you went on 3 dates and he beating the hell out you. But he was so cute. That sex was good. I seen a video on YouTube and it talked about if a man beats you every Friday, but then every Monday he gave you $800, would you stay? And you see the girl putting the ice on her eye and counting the money. What the hell? Really? I'm gonna do that for what? 800 for money? I'm gonna let you beat the hell out of me, destroy my self-esteem, break somebody, and do for 800. Come on now, come on. What's wrong with? And this was something that was being portrayed on YouTube, no, on Facebook, wherever. I think it was TikTok or whatever. But she was, had a little ice on her eye and counting the money out. I'm like, really? This is what you're showing our daughters? Really? This is what you're showing our daughters? That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. That's not cute. And then we got little kids sitting up here cussing up a storm. And we're proud about that. Why are we proud about disrespect? Trauma, any type of trauma videos, 1 million views. But be positive. Well, this little boy is an honor roll student. He built a car, invented a car. No views. 2 views. That's dysfunction. We're going to talk about this dysfunction in the Black family. We're going to talk about it. Oh, we're going to break it all down. We're going to break it all down. We got to. We have to bring it back. We got to bring it back. How important is Black families? We're the 911. But I'm not going to steal him. You got last result? You got last words forecast? Go ahead.
No, yeah, you on point, Cassandra. So thank you for letting me come up here. I appreciate your live and much respect. So thank you.
Appreciate you coming. Appreciate it. I tell you, thank you, family. I appreciate everybody that came on Dual Forecast. I just appreciate everybody. Mama, grandmama used to say, Bakari. I appreciate everybody. Raw, welcome. I missed you up there. Didn't know you were there. Welcome. But I'm telling you, we have got to do something better, you guys. We've got to do it. It's up to us. If we're going to be free, if we're going to get our minds right, if we're going to put our children back in and put our men back on the throne. I don't care if that is what's going on. The men have got to take your thrones back. The men have got to take your thrones back. Period. When our men take thrones back, you'll see the whole family line up. Don't tell me that you can't because your woman won't let you. That's not showing me that you're a man. It shouldn't be, well, a woman won't let me. You ought to come to the table with your crown. I'm just saying, you come to the table with your crown, she gonna automatically know she got to move over. Come on, this is the way you come. You got to come correct. But I appreciate each and every person that came on, and even the ones that's gonna watch afterwards. I am done. I hope I said something. Don't know, but I'm gonna just do it because I feel led to do it. And I'm telling you, we got to do better. And I'm gonna talk about it until the cows come home. And then they got to come home again. I'm gonna keep on talking about it. Family, the Black family, the Black family, the Black family, the Black family, period. Our kings getting back on the throne. That's what's important right now. Thank you for coming, you guys. I'm out. Peace.